ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna, welcome. So today we are going to start a new chapter, chapter 5. So we'll start from the first verse. We will chant first. Arjuna uvacha Sanyasam karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha shamsasi Yachreyayatayorekam Tanme bruhi sunishchitam. Arjuna uvacha, Arjuna said, Sanyasam, renunciation, karmanam, of all activities, Krishna, O Krishna, punaha, again, yogam, devotional service, cha, also, shamsasi, you are praising, yat, which, shreyaha, is more beneficial, itayoho, of these two, ekam, one, tat, that, me, unto me, bruhi, please tell, sunishchitam, definitely. Translation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? So we see here that Arjuna is asking a question to Shri Krishna, that is, between karma yoga and karma sannyasa, which is better, work in devotion or renunciation of action? Now we discussed earlier also that karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga, is synonymous to buddhi yoga and bhakti yoga. So, and why is it so? Because we can truly act without fruitive consciousness when there is perfect devotion in our heart. So when there is devotion in heart, we can actually act in divine consciousness. So nishkama karma yoga is work in devotion. Now we see why Arjuna's confusion is there. In the beginning of chapter 3, we noticed that the same kind of confusion happened in Arjuna's mind. In chapter 2, Bhagavan gave the preliminary knowledge of soul and how the soul is entangled, and also the way to get rid of it by Buddhi Yoga. All these things Bhagavan explained in chapter 2, second chapter. After that also, in the beginning of chapter 3, we see there was the same kind of confusion. And in chapter 3, Bhagavan said that a person who is situated in transcendental knowledge no longer has any duty to perform. This made Arjuna even more confused. And we see in chapter 4, Arjuna does not understand the true spirit of action in knowledge, as we discussed in chapter 4. When the Lord speaks about transcendental knowledge, glorified jnana, told about action in inaction and inaction in action. So he said that all kinds of sacrifices culminate in jnana. Jnane parisamapyate. That is knowledge. And he advised Arjuna to wake up and fight the battle. Atishta uttishta bharata. Being situated in perfect knowledge. But we see that the true essence of action and renunciation, Arjuna could not understand. Rather, he understood renunciation in knowledge means stopping of all kinds of activities. And that action and renunciation is incompatible to each other. So it was impossible for him to comprehend, as if Arjuna is showing this. But in reality, acting in complete knowledge, jnana, means devotional service, or in other words, service in devotional mood, and it is actually non-reactive, and therefore it is same as inaction or akarma. So we will see how beautifully Bhagavan will describe karma and sannyasa in this chapter, chapter 5. For the better understanding for the people with limited intellect like us. And Arjuna is acting as a representative of this kind of people. We know that. So that is why after the Lord's explanations in the previous chapters also, Arjuna still seems bewildered. And this chapter is known as Karma Sannyasa Yoga traditionally, or action in Krishna consciousness, as the title is given by Prabhupada. Okay, so now we will see what is the answer of the Lord. And in verse number 2 to verse number 6, Bhagavan actually answers this question and gives his conclusion also. Then he will elaborate the topic, of course, but here we can see this. And now we will chant from verse 2 to 6 and then we will discuss. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Sannyasah karma yogascha nishreyasa karavubhau tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo visishyate. Shri Bhagavanuvacha, the personality of Godhead, said, Sannyasah, renunciation of action, Karma yoga, work in devotion, Cha also, Nishreyasa karau, leading to the path of liberation, Ubhau, both, Tayoho, of the two, but Karma sannyasat, in comparison to the renunciation of fruitive work, Karma yoga, work in devotion, Visishyate, is better. Translation. The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation, But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Actually, we see in verse number 2 only, Bhagavan gave his conclusion. But he will elaborate a little bit and then again he will give the firm conclusion on verse 6. Here we see Bhagavan says that both are liberating, but Karma Yoga is better than renunciation of work. We see in chapter 3, we started when we just said when Arjuna was bewildered, confused after the end of chapter 2. He asked Shri Krishna that if jnana is so important and so superior, then why are you engaging me in this evil work like a battle, killing people? So then Bhagavan said that there are two kinds of nishtha. Lokesmin dvividha nishtha pura proktamaya nagha. So, and jnana yogena sankhyanam, karma yogena yoginam. So these two paths are there. One is jnana and the other is karma. In chapter 3, Bhagavan said. And he also said that none of us can sit idle. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. So we cannot sit idle. So for the maintenance of our body also, we must have to do certain activities. We breathe, we eat, we sleep. The minimum activities we cannot avoid. We cannot avoid the thought processes also that is constantly going on in our mind. So as this is the case, so we should engage ourselves in such activities that may ultimately free us from the bondage of birth and death. So then it is, of course, will be the it will of course be the perfect way and easier way also. Now we see karma, that is action. Mostly by karma, people understand fruitive action, which binds us in the cycles of birth and death. And as we just said, there is another kind of karma, that is action in divine consciousness, which is nishkama karma yoga, which does not bind us in material bondage. So Bhagavan says that mere renunciation, also he said that in the previous chapters also we studied that mere renunciation in chapter 3, mere renunciation without Krishna consciousness is useless. Like we see in the path of renunciation, renunciation means renunciation of action. So it has certain characteristics, this path. One is jnana or spiritual identity, that is fixed in the knowledge that we are, that I am Atma or Brahma. So I am not this body, not this mind, not even this intellect. So I am Atma or Brahma. Number two, there is certain speculations. Number 3, renouncing all the external activities. External activities. But there is a risk involved in this, as we discussed earlier also. If the renunciation is premature, then mithyachara sauchyate. If we are not completely purified from within and externally we renounce the activities, then the tests of the objects of sense enjoyment will remain in our mind, and we will continue testing them in the mind, sitting idle at one place. So, which is, of course, dangerous, and it will not lead us to any platform where we can expect certain spiritual benefit. Number 4, this renunciation is incomplete renunciation. Phalgu Vairagya. Number 5, renouncing the objects related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them material, is not complete knowledge. So why not? That we will discuss right now. As we discussed about renunciation of action, that is path of renunciation just now. And now we will discuss about renunciation in action, which is karma yoga. What is the characteristics of this path? 1, it is complete renunciation. That is yukta vairagya. As we studied in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, anasaktasya vishayan yatharham upayunjate nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. So in contrast to the jnanis who renounce the objects which are even related to Bhagavan, thinking them material, the people who are in complete knowledge, they act in such a way that they use all the things, even the material things, in the service of the Lord. Because we know everything that exists in this creation belongs to the Lord. So it is the wise choice to engage or utilize all the things, even if they are material, in the service of the Lord. And number 2, we see this is their understanding. So they believe that everything can be utilized in the service of the Lord. So nature, as the nature is offering many things, like some examples we have said in the second point, that is the fruits, the flowers, everything we can offer to the Lord, because everything belongs to Him. And number 3, in relation to this, that nothing belongs to me. What can I renounce? If everything belongs to the Lord and nothing belongs to me, then what can I renounce? So this thought of that I can renounce something that is in my possession is due to false ego. Because I really don't possess anything which I can renounce. So this is point number 3. And Number 4, we can say that such a person does not claim any proprietorship, because he knows that Ishavasyam idam sarvam. So everything belongs to the Lord in this creation. So there is no question of claiming proprietorship on any little thing. Number 5, use everything for his service. Not only the material things that is in our possession, but even our body, mind, speech, everything should be utilized in the service of the Lord. If we can sing, then we must sing for the Lord. We must sing the glories of the Lord. If we can dance, then also we can act different leelas of the Lord. If we can speak, then also we can impart the knowledge given by the Lord and the leelas, pastimes to the people. So we see in number 6, there is a complete purification of the heart. If a person can really engage everything that he has, including his body, mind, speech, any kind of possession in the service of the Lord, believing that nothing belongs to me, claiming no proprietorship, definitely his heart is going to be purified very soon. So this is the purpose of saying this now. Verse 3. ज्ञेयः स नित्यसन्न्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न काङ्क्षति निर्द्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते. ज्ञेयः should be known. Saha, he. Nitya, always. Sannyasi, renouncер. Yaha, who. Na, never. Dveshti, abhors. Na, nor. Kankshati, desires. Nirdvandvaha, free from all dualities. He, certainly. Mahabaho, O mighty armed one. Sukham, happily. Bandhat, from bondage. Pramuchyate is completely liberated. Translation. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcome material bondage and is completely liberated, O mighty armed Arjuna. So in this verse, we see this Jnēya hi Nitya Sannyasi is very significant. Nitya Sannyasi means who he is always beyond attachment or aversion to the fruits of action. So no attachment, no abhorrence. So he is a jnani, true jnani. So what does jnani mean? Jnani is he who knows that I am not this material body but the spirit soul. He is a jnani. And what is jnana? That is, what is the real transcendental knowledge? The real transcendental knowledge is that I am actually one in quality with the Lord, but always remain different in quantity. This is real knowledge. And what is the effect of this knowledge? That is the effect. Nitya Sannyasi. Nothing to aspire or lament for. No dveshti, na dveshti, na kankshati. This is the result. So, this is the true spirit of renunciation. Renunciation in action, that is sannyasa in karma, but not renunciation of action, that is sannyasa of karma. So, renunciation in action is real sannyasa. So, it is better not to be a bhogi, that is enjoyer, not a tyagi, that is renuncer, but it is the best option to be a yogi, that is nishkama karma yogi, or buddhi yogi, or bhakti yogi, that is who performs every action in the mood of renunciation, or who performs every action in the mood of devotion, or who performs every action in the mood of surrender. In the mood of surrender, in the mood of devotion, or in the mood of renunciation. The meaning is same. So, we see that if it is the case, and if a person engages everything in the service of the Lord, then his senses are automatically controlled. Like as we studied in the third chapter, that is the example of tortoise. No, not third chapter, second chapter. The example of tortoise, we studied that how the tortoise withdraws all the organs in the shell and when not needed, and when the time comes, the need comes, then they can automatically bring them out to perform the activities. So the nishkama karma yogi or buddhi yogi or bhakti yogi, or a person in Krishna consciousness, uses all the organs in the service of the Lord or for the service of the Lord. Otherwise, they withdraw all the organs truly, internally and externally, both. Because it is internally, because as we just discussed, there is complete knowledge and complete renunciation, complete knowledge that everything belongs to Lord and nothing belongs to me. I cannot claim proprietorship of anything. Rather, I should use everything in the service of the Lord. So in this way, there is the complete purification of the heart, as we said. So that purified heart allows that person to actually control the senses. As we know, the control is in the hand of the mind by the power of buddhi, intellect. So such a stable buddhi and manas, intelligence and mind, can actually control all the senses because he is in perfect knowledge. Okay, so then 4 and 5 we will chant together. Sankhya-yogau prithak balaha pravadante na panditaha ekamapyasthitah samyag ubhayor vindate phalam So Sankhya Yogau Prithak Balaha Pravadanti Na Panditaha Ekam Api Astitaha Samyak Ubhayor Vindate Phalam. So Sankhya, analytical study of the material world, and Yoga, work in devotional service. Prithak, different. Balaha, the less intelligent. Pravadanti, say. Na, never. Panditaha, the learned. Ekam, in one. Api, even. Asthitaha, being situated. Samyak, complete. Ubhayoho, of both. Vindate, enjoys. Phalam, the result. So the translation: only the ignorant speak of devotional service or karma yoga as being different from the analytical study of the material world, that is Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both. Verse 5. यत्साङ्ख्यैः प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति. Yat, what? Sankhyaih, by means of Sankhya philosophy. Prapyate is achieved. Sthanam, place. Tat, that. Yogaihi, by devotional service. Api, also. Gamyate, one can attain. Ekam, one. Sankhyam, analytical study. Cha, and. Yogam, action and devotion. Cha, and. Yaha, one who. Pashyati, sees. Saha, he. Pashyati, actually sees. Translation: one who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. So, what the Lord means by this? He is saying that Sankhya is equal to karma. Right? So Sankhya, the analytical study, that is na iti, not this, and coming to the final conclusion, the final goal. So it is somehow we can compare to finding the root by different methods, and then watering the root. Then watering. Once we find the root of the plant, we can water it well. And the purpose is, of course, to water the root, because finding the root will automatically, if you really find the root, and definitely then you will try to serve that plant so that it can live for a long time, it can grow, it can give us flowers and fruits. So this is the thing. And karma yoga, we see the thought of karma yogis is the nishkama karma yogis or bhakti yogis is somewhat like, there is no need to find the root by digging the earth. Just water the plant in the root, and definitely the plant will survive. So in this second case, strong faith is needed. That is, though I cannot see the root right at this moment, but I know that as the plant is standing on the earth, definitely the root is there. Where the stem starts, definitely the root will be there in the earth, within the earth, inside it. So there is no need to dig it to get the root. But if we pour water on the joint of the stem and root, it will automatically reach the end of the root and it will gather the water from there. But ultimately, the goal is same. There is a common goal, that is find ultimate goal of life. There are three common goals, or four we can say. One is finding ultimate goal of life. It is common in both the cases. Number two is self-realization. Common in both the cases. Number three is detaching from matter. That is also common in both the cases. And it is also associated, that is detaching from matter and attaching to the actions in Krishna consciousness. That is for the karma yogis added. They don't stop in the first step of detaching from the matter. They even go one step ahead, that is attaching to the actions in Krishna consciousness. And number four, we see, that is finding the soul of existence. That is also common in both the cases. So we see the aim is same in both the cases. That is why the Lord says, one who sees the analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level sees things as they are. And we see in verse number 6, Bhagavan is giving his final conclusion. Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptu mayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirenadhigacchati. Sanyasaha, the renounced order of life. Tu, but. Mahabaho, O mighty armed one. Dukkham, distress. Aptum, afflicts one with. Ayogataha, without devotional service. Yoga yuktaha, one engaged in devotional service. Munihi, a thinker. Brahma, the supreme. Nachirena, without delay. Adhigacchati, attains. Translation. Merely renouncing all activities yet not engaging in the devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. So, sannyasasthu mahabaho dukkham aptum ayogataha. Dukkham aptum afflicts one with distress. Why Bhagavan is saying this? See, if we say in simple language, then the conclusion is karma sannyasa is impractical religion. In the present context, if we think of it, then it is not possible for everyone to leave his family and go to the Himalaya or some secluded place, leaving all the activities and meditate. So we see also here we can have certain points. Certain characteristic points. That is, it is based on jnana, that I am not this body, but the Atma. Number two, it is difficult to perform. It is difficult to perform. Number three, it is not safe. Why not safe? Because there is chance of fall down. If the renunciation is premature, or artificial, then there is every possibility to fall down. It is called Markata Vairagya or Shmashana Vairagya, that is temporary. If we, Shmashana Vairagya, if we see anybody's death today and in the crematorium, we start thinking that, oh, this is the fate of every person. And seeing this, we develop temporary detachment from this world, dispassion from this world, which results in temporary renunciation. So there is every possibility that after a few days, when I forget about this, again, I will be engaged in the material activities. It is possible for everybody. So there is chance of fall down. It is Markata Vairagya or Shmashana Vairagya or Shushka Vairagya or Phalgu Vairagya. There are different terms. I'm not discussing all these things, but it is like artificial or temporary, we can say in simple language. Number 4 is it can cause distress. That is why Bhagavan is saying dukkhamaptum. It can cause distress. Why? Because the same reason. It is not very easy leaving your family, your parents and everybody and going to a secluded place. So there could be, and if it is premature, then there could be the tests that is still there in the mind to enjoy this world. So it is not very blissful, we can say. Rather, it can cause distress. And number 5 is incomplete. It is incomplete. Whereas Karma Yoga is practical religion. Everybody can practice in any circumstances. Whether he is a student or a householder or a retired person, anybody can. So the characteristic of this Karma Yoga, this practical religion, is 1, it is easy to perform. Number 2, it is safer. Number 3, it contains jnana, that is knowledge, inbuilt. As we discussed, it is after knowing that I have no proprietorship because everything belongs to the Lord and nothing belongs to me. So I should engage everything in the service of the Lord. And I am one in quality with the Lord, but in quantity I am not. So he is much superior to me. So I am just a part of the Lord. So my responsibility or my duty is to engage myself in the service of the Lord with all the by all the means that he has gifted me, including my body, mind, speech, everything. So it is jnana inbuilt. And number 4, it is blissful. This is blissful because when we do something for our own self, for the sake of our enjoyment or our achievement, there is a fear in our heart of losing, of not being able to achieve. And this, even in this case, if by meditation also, if by leaving everything, the family and everything, if we go to a secluded place and if we try meditating on the on Brahman, and if we really fail to attain liberation in the end, then the entire process is not blissful. It is dukkhamapto. It is very very dry kind of a thing. So we see, on the other hand, karma yoga, that is a practical religion, that is utilizing everything and doing all the activities to please the Lord, for the sake of the Lord. You are not thinking anything about your this limited existence. So in that case, it is a very blissful journey. And therefore it is complete. Point number 5, it is complete. So it is easy to perform, it is safer, it contains jnana inbuilt, it is blissful, and it is complete. So we see that Nishkama Karma Yoga, the action in Krishna consciousness, or action in renunciation. Action in renunciation is complete when everything is done in relation to the Lord. That is why it is action in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so with this, we have come to the end of today's session. So the basic things that can you hear me? The basic things that is discussed in this chapter 5, is the number 1 starts with Arjuna's question about which is better, renunciation of action or work with devotion. And in answer to the question, Bhagavan gives his conclusion in only 5 verses, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he says that as far as the essence is concerned, or the aim is concerned, they are equal, but Karma Yoga is much easier to perform. So it is better or superior. So that was the conclusion, and with this we will conclude today. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.